reasons for being a member of our club, and we're going down your life, and you would like to know where you were born in Baltimore City.
I was born at 1061 West Lexington Street, 6 blocks west of Lexington Market.
Could you tell us something about your early school days?
Well, I started at school 110, which was called Worcester Street at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I started school, and I graduated from there, and I went to Douglas High School. But I only went to the 2nd grade,
Mm-hmm.
and my education ended there.
Right. Well, what was the first job you had during your early days?
Well, the first job I had, I sold newspapers downtown on the corner of Baltimore and Green Street in front of the drugstore. And the ice cream parlor was there called, can't think of the name of it now. And that's where I started my employment.
Mm-hmm.
Newspapers at that time sold for 2 cents.
No kidding.
And then they raised it to a nickel. So I was selling newspapers downtown after school. I was selling newspapers during my school days.
Mm-hmm.
I got another job setting 10 pins at the recreation bowling alley. Then we used to set pins by hand. They called us pin boys.
Right.
And I used to set pins on Friday and Saturdays when the 3rd floor was working.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 3-story building, and we used to have match games. And the winning teams used to give you a tip when it was done bowling, 10 cents, a nickel. That was a lot of money.
A lot of money in those days, huh?
So when you come home with 50 cents worth of tips, after working from 7 to 12 at night, you had a good day's work.
Brother Roy, what was the racial climate at that time?
Well, colored people only went downtown when they shopped.
Mm-hmm.
But you couldn't go into the big stores. There was one big store black folks used to go into. It was called Bernheim's.
Uh-huh.
The building is still there at Howard and Lexington. And that's where all the colored folks went.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, go ahead.
the clubs and bars you couldn't go into. I mean, you couldn't eat them, you couldn't buy nothing in them.
Uh-huh.
The whites only. But the black people had their own places, you know.
Uh-huh.
And the reason I went into our social, I went into the Elks first.
Uh-huh.
And the Elks used to have the parades come down. My father was an Elk in our social.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to see these parades come down Saratoga Street and Lexington Street all around when they had an affair going, like a crab feast or whatever they had, a bull roast. They had a parade on the day they're going to have these affairs. That was our advertisement.
Oh, so that's how you became acquainted with the Art Social. Your father was a member.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Well, you see, the Art Social, the Monument on the Lodge of Elks is the cause of Art Social today. We probably built it from a given affair. That was every holiday we went to Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't no casinos then, but everybody went to Atlantic City. Labor Day, we used to carry 4 or 5 buses on a weekend.
Uh-huh.
And on Easter Sunday, all the holidays, we had a bus trip going, and the Elks was always our headquarters.
All right.
The Lighthouse Lodge and all those Elks homes. And whenever we gave something, the Elks would have open house to us. And that would be our headquarters. To eat, drink, and dance.
Well, how old were you when you decided to join the Art Social Club?
Well, I must have been about I guess I've been about 30 something.
Uh-huh.
I was in my 30s.
Right. So you've been from the 30s until how old are you now?
98.
98. That's quite a bit of time.
Yeah. So what they used to do,
What was your father's name, Brother Murray?
Benjamin Murray.
Benjamin Murray.
Right.
All right. That's a nice name, like Lawrence said.
He was a member of the Monumental Lodge of the Elks. And it was a member, he was in the Knights of Pythias, and he was a Masonic.
Uh-huh.
And that was my father.
What kind of activities did they do in the art social in the community?
Beg pardon?
What kind of activities did the art social do in the community in Baltimore?
Oh, they donated to charity, and you know, like these wheelchair people got the curbs like this.
Yes.
We built that around Baltimore City with our donations.
Uh-huh.
Because then, if people in the wheelchair, they had high curbs, somebody had to pick the thing up.
Right.
Get the wheelchair over. And they had a campaign going to push the wheelchairs up this ramp on the pavements.
So the art social was instrumental in something big in the city for those handicapped persons.
That's what we did. We donated to that a lot of money. And dues at that time, when I went into the art social, dues was 25 cents. And then they raised it eventually.
Right. Uh-huh.
So what we used to do, whenever we took a fundraiser, we'd go to Atlantic City and places like that in the summertime.
Uh-huh.
Of course, in the wintertime, we give parties and things like suppers and all.
Right. Well, tell me something. How do you feel about the Art Social Club? Has it made an impact on your life?
Well, in a way, yes, because one thing, I'd taken sick. I worked until I was 70 years old because my health was good.
Uh-huh.
And I enjoyed the work I did. But
Uh-huh.
after I got sick, fell down, busted my head and everything, the Art Social has been very good to me.
Well, that's good. When you joined the Art Social Club, where was it located?
On Saratoga Street, I can't remember the address, it was in the 600 block, Saratoga Street.
Uh-huh.
That's West Saratoga.
Right.